So I did the math. We got about 360 quests left through the end of Shadowbringers. Through the end of Heavensward, we should only have about 36-ish, I think, for the patch content. So that'll just breeze by, and we have 69 days from today until Endwalker goes into its early access period. So my question to you is, can we get through at least 6 quests a day for the next 69 days? Historically, I have not played every day or anything like it. I tend to play more like a bunch on the weekends, which normal person behavior, I guess. I think we can get through all of Heavensward patch content today, though. If it's only 37 of them or whatever, 39, I think we can do it. I do still want to do the Heavensward raids. Definitely want to do them before the expansion. Really would like to do them now in their proper time. But I guess that's secondary. Let's see if we can get through the Heavensward patch content. If we can do that in one single day, then maybe we can knock out at least one or the other raid sequences in a day. Binding Coils took like 3.5 hours with Rook's help, right? That's one evening. Enough speculation. What the fuck is this in this image, by the way? Why is there a space whale there? I don't remember a space whale. What is this? Anyway. Though it came at great cost, the heroes have triumphed over the Archbishop on the floating continent of Azizla, thereby breaking the cycle of conflict between man and dragon. Yet a millennium of war is not soon ended, and in the wake of the Warrior of Light's return, the nation of Ishgard was left trembling, the faith of her people shaken to the very core. What could possibly await us? Let's find out. Where are we at? Okay, right back in the thick of things. Tataru. Search for our missing friends continues. Should I learn something, I'll be sure to let you know. An uncertain future. Alphino wishes to share the latest developments in the search for the missing scions. Fortuitous timing as ever, Erwin. Tataru was about to brief me on the search for our missing comrades. No auto-scroll. If you would be so kind, then. Absolutely. You'll be pleased to hear that Riol and his men have been making excellent progress. You remember how Flamen helped me escape the Crystal Braves in Limsa Laminsa only to then disappear? Well, according to Riol, she crept aboard a ship bound for Radzat Han, where she's been hiding ever since. He assures me that it won't be long before we're reunited. As for Ida and Papalaimo, the remains of their link pearls have been found, and in Pearl Lane of all places. Riol thinks they must have disposed of them after escaping from the Royal Promenade. Yes, that would make sense. They could not risk being eavesdropped upon by our betrayers. We're all but certain they fled the city shortly after, though we still don't have a clue as to where they went. I see. What of Thancred and Menphilia? I'm afraid I have nothing new to share about those two. But it's not all doom and gloom. The good news is we've enlisted the services of a Charlayan scholar, one of the students of Baldesian, to aid in the search, who should be arriving any day now. One of the students, you say? I should very much like to meet this scholar if time permits. But first we must attend to a more pressing matter. Sir Emmerich has summoned the two of us to a private audience. The messenger did not specify what he wished to discuss, only that it was urgent. Assuming you have no objections, Erwin, I suggest we proceed to the congregation forthwith. And mayhap we can meet with a scholar afterward. Agreed? In that case, I think I'll return to the Forgotten Night for now. Things are liable to fall apart if I'm gone too long, you know. Happy hour. She's the linchpin. Sounding out a friend of mine who just subbed to this channel, actually. I say friend, Twitter mutual. I think of her as a friend. See if she wants to go to VR chat later. I've never actually spoken to her directly before. Voice to voice, it'd be fun. Speak with Emmerich at the congregation of our knights most heavenly. I've already forgotten that's the Forgotten Night, right? Let's just bop right on up there. Here we go. Wow, this feels really washed out. That's just because it's a gray day, I guess. Everything just tinged with like transparency, and yet it is also opacity. Strange. Good invariably triumphs over evil in fairy tales, yet they are conspicuously reticent about what follows. The Lord Commander is within. Pray proceed, sir. Proceed to the seat of the Lord Commander. Yes, and while we're doing that, I will check that my volume mix is correct. Because who could be confident in such things? This is Windows we're talking about. You have no need for things to be standard. It hasn't actually dropped in a long time, though.
I wish to speak with you both in a place where privacy was assured.
Ooh. So this isn't going to be one of those dogging-style conversations, huh? Spit it out, boyo.
With my father's passing, the seat of the Archbishop lies vacant.
That's a very euphemistic way to put it.
In accordance with canon law, I have assumed his responsibilities.
Really? You were in the vice president's seat, huh?
That this is a temporary measure. It was never intended that the Lord Commander of the Temple Knights serve in this capacity indefinitely. Quite the opposite. The statutes specify that I should surrender my powers as soon as a conclave of the senior clergy and the high houses have named a new archbishop. But in light of recent events, that would not seem appropriate.
Yeah, you're telling me. Just seize power, Emmerich, please. Like, don't stand on democratic niceties. They're Pluto-democratic, I mean.
Archbishop's plans, perhaps, but the true origin of the war and all it entails?
Told everybody all of it. I mean, people gotta know.
Had concerns. But when the Warrior of Light is witnessed returning to the capital upon the back of a dragon, one's options are rather limited.
Whoops, sorry.
Mayhap I could have concealed certain details, but for how long? And at what risk? Should the truth have come to light in the meantime, how would the people have viewed my silence?
I'm on your side, dude.
After 1,000 years of lies and secrecy, I could not well abuse their trust and hope to be believed. The time for deception has passed.
You really have to put your faith in the people, while, of course, ensuring that,
the people agreed. That some would deny the truth I had anticipated, but not this many.
Oh boy.
And among the few who acknowledged that my father had to be stopped, no small number questioned our methods.
If only we had cell phones. Just get the footage of what happened.
If they suspect a coup, it will not be long before some turn to violence.
I guess 30% of them would have been like, yeah, why shouldn't he have turned into God and ruled the world?
And that on both sides. Men and women of the cloth are being harassed in the streets. Some have even been assaulted in the broom. Hilda and her people have formed a watch to help us maintain order. But such measures will not prevent the unrest from spreading.
So, how are the men and women of the cloth responding to this, though? We don't really know what priests are like in this order.
For their sake, we must bring the Dragonsong War to a definitive end.
I haven't really seen any evidence of clergy at all in this society, actually, apart from the clerics at the top.
And we should be glad to help you, Sir Emmerich. But what precisely would you have us do?
Lay it out, boyo. I know you got 37 jobs for me.
We wish to treat with the dragons of Annex Shrine. To that end, I would trouble you for an escort and an introduction.
Where's Annex Shrine, though? Oh, is that the old... That must be the fallen, tower in that...
Shrine? You would speak with Vidofnir, then?
Of course we're going back there.
Between our peoples. Acting as my representative, Lucia will extend an invitation to their leader, that she might visit us here in Ishgard.
Ooh, that's probably not gonna go over well.
I would of course have beseeched Isel's assistance in this matter.
Oh, Isel is how her name is pronounced, okay.
I must ask that you aid us in her stead. Will you do us this favor?
Oh man, thinking about that conclusion of Isel's story is very good. Am I playing a Final Fantasy game? Am I playing the best Final Fantasy game?
Lucia, I leave the rest to you.
Isel pulling a Han Solo there. We've got this well in hand, boss. Don't worry about it. You know, ironically, Even though...
In the Archbishop's fall, the nation of Ishgard trembled, the faith of her people shaken to its very core.
I kind of prefer the unvoiced cutscenes because it gives us something to do.
For 1,000 years had they fought and died, certain of the justice of their cause, only to be told that their holy war was born of the sins of their forefathers.
They'll just start a war with Dragon China, probably.
What
If
then for
real
those
life
brave
is any
men and
indication.
women, thus stripped of their righteousness but to despair, to deny the truth and decry its speakers. And what then for those whom they defamed but to hope on, to have faith in a brighter tomorrow? A tomorrow in which man and dragon might live together in harmony, then as distant as the very stars in the heavens.
So is the narrator here, the non-comedy Frenchman nobleman whose name I can't
Yet
remember?
while we dared to hope, deep within his lair the enemy lay, gathering his strength.
I'm still kind of on his side. We haven't really come up with any,
Nidhogg, now possessed of his 2 eyes and the body of the Azure Dragoon, prizes to which he had laid claim at the very hour of the hero's triumph.
Yeah, maybe we should have thought that one through before just handing over that other eyeball to Estinian for no reason.
As desperately as we sought the solace of peace, the great worm craved the misery of war. Nor was he alone in his misbegotten desire.
We have not addressed his concern. Like, I understand that maybe even setting Ratatosker's essence free from the bloodline of the Ishgardian people, like, maybe that wouldn't assuage him. But if you want to consider yourself a moral actor, acting in good faith and doing everything they can, that seems like the one thing you could offer him. The journey, at least, should pose little difficulty this time. I know little of the lands these dragons call home, this annexed shrine. Had you not agreed to escort me, the coming journey would seem a far more daunting prospect. I confess I myself once shuddered at the thought of it, yet even the longest journey begins with the first step, does it not? But ere we set forth, Erwin and I must needs inform our comrade of our plans. Very well, I shall see to my preparations. Let us go and bid farewell to Taru Longpoint. Very well. Let's do it. Kind of forgot that the Forgotten Knight was right next to the Temple Knights HQ. I thought you might want to tell her. Or would you rather I did all the talking? I don't talk, Alphino. So, what was your secret meeting all about? I'm all ears. Tataru remains our most challenging voice. A diplomatic mission to annex Trine, you say? Well, I suppose that does take precedence. But should your meeting with Vidofnir happen to end early, you might consider rendezvousing with Y'shtola in Idleshire. She'll be there to receive our guest. Don't get me wrong, your meeting with the dragons is terribly important and everything, but this scholar just happens to be, time permitting, as I said. We shall endeavor to join Y'shtola, but if we cannot, pray pass on our regards. Let us be off, Erwin. We've kept the first commander waiting long enough. I somehow suspect that it is not going to go well. Who wants to bet that this summit is going to be... We have to go right back up? God damn it, that was such a minimal little Final Fantasy XIV, why are you like this? One task at a time, Erwin. Besides, I have no doubt that Y'shtola can look after the scholar by herself. You're ready? You're ready then. Good. So am I. If you and Master Alphino would be so kind as to lead the way. Breaking the cycle. That's one quest. Done. The path is long, but known to us. From Falcon's Nest, we shall cross the western highlands and make for Tailfeather in the Dravanian Forelands. There we can stop to rest and replenish our supplies. Questions? If not, then the stables await. Stables, you say? What about, teleportation? I like that the game recognizes that aetherites are a thing. Oh, we can probably put this ugly boy away now. Thank you for your service. It was... Damn it. Now I'm thinking about when he came to our aid. This is a pretty good game, dudes. It's a pretty effectively told story. Strange. This is only my third visit to Tailfeather, yet the first feels as though it were a lifetime ago. I always imagined that the first time I set foot upon Dravanian soil would be at the head of an army. And yet here I am, ready to treat with the brothers and sisters of mine enemies. Full well do I know how difficult it can be to set aside the past. Though it was I who first proposed recruiting Izel to our cause, I questioned the wisdom of my words almost as soon as I'd uttered them. And for a long time after that. Here was a woman with the blood of innocence on her hands, men, women, children, all slain in the name of the implacable Lady Iceheart. Dude, your civilization burns people at the stake for no real reason, like on the flimsiest of evidence. Yet she acknowledged her misdeeds and agreed to join us in common cause. At our side, she fought in service to that greater good, even under her dying breath. And while that does not absolve her of her sins, I hope that one day she will be remembered not merely as a heretic, but as a misguided soul who dreamt of peace. You ask much, Master Alphino, yet who can say what might come to pass should our negotiations bear fruit? Yes, of course, we must press on to annex Tryon. If you follow me... Was that Alphino saying that? The I hope I'll she'll be remembered thing? We may have done the wrong delivery there. So, annex Tryon. Yep, it's the big, tall, ruined tower. You know, we have records of who built big cathedrals from 1,000 years ago. Maybe, sort of, I wonder. You know, it's always interesting to think about how complete the picture of history is. Because what is known is only the tiniest fraction of what could have been known. And then also, it is all interpretations from fragmented documents. And listening to Chapo's Hell of Presidents podcast about presidential history, and it's very interesting the way they will often refer to motivations and even specific actions as if they know exactly what the intent was and what the outcome was. When here we sit, spilling so much ink, so much airtime, just trying to understand why anyone does anything and what the outcome of any policy is. I mean, I guess we feel like we understand the outcomes, but it does help that everything is slanted so directly toward the eternal cementing of capital as the only meaningful force in society. We have no quarrel with man, but the young ones are still prideful. They look upon men with contempt. In time, they will understand the folly in their judgment. Yeah, the older ones just look upon man with indifference. The Dofnir, our boy. We're looking to break a cycle. Thou art ever welcome here, friend of Izel. We oughta, but this one I do not know. Pray forgive us this unannounced visit, Vidofnir. May I present to you Lucia, first commander of the Temple Knights of Ishgard, and our trusted friend. Meow. It is an honor to meet you, Vidofnir. I come as envoy of Ser Emeric, Lord Commander to the Temple Knights and acting leader of the Holy See. Indeed, you may speak, Knight. For 1,000 years, man and dragon have been locked in an endless cycle of bloodshed and sorrow. To our shame, we long believed your kin to be the architects of this war. We now know the truth. That King Thornton and his Knights 12 did willfully betray and murder the great worm Ratatoskr, shattering the peace between our peoples. For 1,000 years, our leaders conspired to conceal this truth. A truth which was at last laid bare by the warrior of light, the Azure Dragoon, Izel. Alas, a deception so intricately wrought cannot be undone in a moment, and our people labor to accept the truth. After an eternity of war, who would dare to dream that peace could at last be within our grasp? Yet dream we must, as Izel once did, and we must make that dream a reality, as she could not. We humbly beseech you, Vidofnir, join hands with us in friendship once more, before the eyes of my people in Ishgard. A most unexpected invitation. I have heard your request, Knight. However, I cannot yet give you mine answer. May I ask why? This matter concerneth my sire. He must needs be consulted. Moreover, the Nath grew bold, even as they did before, and I would not leave my people at the mercy of the swarm. Then we will wait. After 1,000 years at war, we shall not give up on peace for want of patience. Fear not, knight. Thou shalt have mine answer within thy lifetime. So soon, my humble thanks. I shall bear your words to my lord forthwith, until we meet again. That's surprising. Definitely anticipated an ambush by good old Nidhogg here. Never did I think to see a knight of Ishgard come on to Annex Trine bearing words instead of steel. Would that the Nath could show the same restraint. Too many children have fallen to their spears and muskets. To face such a creature in battle is one thing. To converse with it quite another. Given the circumstances, I would say that went rather well. To be frank, I'm surprised our proposal was not rejected outright. Whether aught will come of it remains to be seen, though. Mayhap I should take this opportunity to speak with some of the other dragons. But you need not wait for me. The return journey holds no fear for me now. Well, if you have no further need of our services, we shall continue on to Charlian. We hope to welcome a scholar who's agreed to aid us in the search for our missing comrades. Then I pray your journey is as swift and uneventful as ours was, and thank you again for sparing the time to assist us, even when such grave matters remain unresolved. I can think of no graver matter than a 1,000-year war, one which our friends gave their lives to see ended. Suffice it to say, I would willingly make 1,000 such journeys to ensure that their sacrifice was not in vain. Of that I have no doubt, Master Alphino. I only hope the fates will not hold you to your word. Breaking the cycle. Two, come at me. We're almost 1% done with the remainder of the game. Another time, another place. So, it would seem we have time to greet this scholar after all. How delightful. I shall be interested to hear how she means to go about finding Menphilia and Thancred. I can only assume she is privy to some new investigative technique. In any event, our first order of business is to rendezvous with Y'shtola in Idleshire. That sounds perfectly reasonable to me. Alphino. Another conspicuously uneventful journey. It would seem we are destined not to be late. Did you not just use the Aetheryte, Alphino? Because I know you can. Erwin. 'Tis good to see you. I confess I'd assumed your business in Annex Trine would detain you longer. Did your meeting with Adofna go well? As well as can be inspected. She must discuss Sirmeric's proposal with her at Svelger, of course, but she seemed amenable to the suggestion. What of our Charlian guest? Has she arrived yet? She has, but when I explained that you would be joining us, she asked if she might use the intervening time to explore. I agreed to meet her outside on Front Bridge. We should be on our way. But what if we hadn't come? What if we'd been devoured? I guess then there would have been a whole new problem on our hands, and, maybe at that point, it's no longer so much of a concern whether we can find the other signs or not. It would seem we are early. Shall we wait? Wait, back in Ishgard, what was she trying to tell me? She was trying to say something, right? Jataru was like, this scholar is the... And then what was the... Whoops. Let's think a little faster. Thinking complete. Hello. She's one of the smallest scholars in Charlian.
I'm terribly sorry to have kept you all waiting.
Maybe she was trying to say that it's her
Do
sister?
not apologize. We arrived but a moment ago ourselves.
True. Alphino seems shocked.
Pray, allow me to introduce Kral, who has recently come from the Charlian motherland. She has generously offered to assist us.
What was surprising about this to Alphino?
Oh, please, think nothing of it. A trip to Eorzea was long overdue. You must be the Warrior of Light. Yes, you certainly do look the part. A pleasure to meet you at last, sir. And who is that I spy but young Alpha No Levieux himself? I dare say someone's grown an ilm or two in my absence. Or are those lifts in your boots?
Oh, both. But they know each other then, I guess.
We, Miss Cryle and I met at the Studium years ago. I shall forever be indebted to her for her sage guidance.
It was no small task keeping him out of trouble, believe you me. The youngest ever to enter the Studium, him and his sister, 11-year-old prodigies.
It was basically yesterday.
Suffice it to say, social graces were not among his list of talents. Striding up to his seniors on his first day, head held high. What was it he said again?
Oh no.
Thank you, Cryle.
For what? I haven't finished yet. Would you care to attempt a more dexterous deflection?
Mayhap we should save this delightful conversation for a more fitting occasion, when pressing matters do not demand our undivided attention.
And being a teenager is terrible. It's almost as bad as being an adult.
I can tell you have been putting your skills to use here in Eorzea. Henceforth, I trust you will dazzle me with your eloquence at the first time of asking.
Moving on, though, we are
Right.
truly
On to more pressing
busy.
matters. Finding Minfilia and the other missing scions.
Thank you. So I believe this was Minfilia's
I
friend
gather
that she
you have
spoke to
new
via Link
information to
Pearl
share
back
with
in
us.
ARR. Like, while Alphino was giving a
A new
speech,
approach,
Minfilia was doing
actually.
that in the background.
Tataru recounted the tale of your escape, and it gave me an idea. Simply put, assuming Thancred left some manner of trail when you whisked him away, as is almost always the case with teleportation magics, I am confident I can find and follow it.
Then what are you waiting for?
The wherewithal to do it. The fact is, my abilities aren't quite up to the task. Not in themselves, anyway. If I had Master Matoya's crystal eye, on the other hand...
Then let us all call on her forthwith. I think it best that you explain your plan to her in person.
Then we are agreed. I think that the direction that we're walking out, you can't even reach her, right? Unless you can fly, which is not a guarantee. No, the way that they had us walking out, that is true, but it did offload us into the right part of the zone. Alright, well, let's cross this zone. No matter how fast I travel, they are always here ahead of me. That guy's got a good look. She was less than flattering about my technique when last we met, but this time I've come prepared. Let her belittle my obsidian carbuncle if she dares. Do not tell her I said that. The crystal eye is one of Master Matoya's most cherished relics. I doubt very much that she will grant us leave to lay hands upon it unless we can convince her it is vital to our cause. You? Maître Renard. Oh yeah, I always forget that I'm on European servers. He's probably French. You did say we were headed for a cave, did you not? Because I certainly don't see a cave nearby. Is Master Matoya meeting us on the way or something? 3, that's 3 quests complete in the Eye of the Beholder. The prospect of meeting the famous Master Matoya seems to have set Cryle thinking. I've heard so many stories of Master Matoya, some quite flattering, others less so. Rest assured they're all true. This way, and have care where you tread. Voice filling up with ooze already. Why not? Cave entrance. Enter Matoya's cave. Let's do it.
Is that trouble I smell? Or did you forget to wipe your boots on the way in?
Ooh.
Forgive us, Master Matoya. We will be sure to wipe them on the way out. And may I say how glad I am that age has not yet deprived you of your senses.
Y'shtola's not taking it.
Witty, aren't we? To the detriment of your manners. Well, out with it then. What do you want?
Hi.
Allow me to introduce myself, Master Matoya. I am Kryl, of the students of Baldessian. I hope you will excuse our unannounced visit.
Baldessian, you say? Oh, yes. The old Coups set up shop on the Isle of Val, didn't he?
While I was still there,
Regrettably,
yes.
Our order's headquarters and the Isle itself were obliterated by a magic of immense power. I have the blessing of light to thank for my own preservation.
I don't know what that means.
Kryl, you too possess the Echo.
Oh, okay. This game is constantly answering my questions as I ask them.
Well, yes, of course I do.
It's directly avoiding the thing that maddens me in JRPGs, which is when characters say things that make no sense, and then people don't notice. It's already done it twice in this session alone.
And subsequently befriended Minfilia. She and I have rather a lot in common.
I had no idea.
You weren't supposed to. Not that I wanted to deceive you, you understand, but precautions had to be taken.
Yes,
I like to think of
yes,
myself as a
that's all
state
well
secret,
and
you
good,
know.
But you still haven't told me why you're here.
The students of Baldessian are gone, and there is naught I can do to change that. But the science of the Seventh Dawn can yet be restored, and my dear friend found. You have in your possession an ancient crystal of light, one you call your crystal eye. I believe I can use it to focus my abilities and locate one of the missing scions.
We should get a little more detail on these crystals of light, considering we've been finding them, but...
Make use of my years of experience. Oh, wait here.
Listen, it is the unfortunate truth that the human animal is defined as much by the stuff that they accrue as anything else. It's a material world we live in.
Crystal and its familiar radiance. But never did I suspect it was a crystal of light.
Well, interesting, So this is,
An umbral calamity, souls blessed with the power of the Echo invariably appear. To aid these, her chosen warriors, Hydaelyn bequeaths to each a slither of her strength in the form of a crystal of light.
So does that mean those crystals that we were finding are
But
like
as her
the
strength
residue
wanes,
of...
so too does the potency of her gifts. This crystal, born of an earlier era, is infused with a power far greater than those of this age.
You could travel the length and breadth of the land and not find a crystal even a fraction as pure. Its value is beyond measure, as are the risks inherent in its use.
Do not touch my marble with
Most
inadequate
manifestations
care.
of the Echo are alike. I, for example, can converse with beings of every shape and size, excepting beasts, contrary to what others would have you believe. Language has nothing to do with it, of course. Rather, I am sensitive to the whispers of the soul. Their intent, their very essence even, the traces of which serve to guide the elementals to Y'shtola.
So why can't you do it with beasts then?
Far-fetched though it may sound,
Also,
I
we can do
believe
that
with your
too.
crystal eye, I may be able to pick up where they left off and follow the remaining trail to Thancred. That is, if I have your permission.
Well, the poor sod's not going to find himself. So, as long as you don't drop it or take it out of my sight, you may do with it what you will.
I think it's gonna explode. I think we're gonna explode it. That's interesting. This is another Final Fantasy 1 callback, right? Because we had to find a crystal eye there too. I don't think it was called a crystal eye in the original translation, but it was in later translations, and I have no idea in the original Japanese. So can you use that to become, like, omniscient? Because you don't seem to need to take it anywhere in particular. Could you learn anything you wanted to?
Black Shroud. The trail continues to the north and west, towards a mountain, the foot of Som Al. It was a near thing, but he was not deposited within the rock. I think.
Seems like being deposited in a tree is fine. I guess trees are livelier than rocks, but aren't they both etheric condensations in the end?
The hunters of Tailfeather know those lands well. I say we begin our search there.
Let's go find ourselves a fuckboy. Speak with Alvino outside Tailfeather. Oh, that's efficient. Here we go. Where you at, boyo? Really gotta remember that there's no distance so short that mounting doesn't make it faster. There is no such thing as walkable in Final Fantasy XIV. Cryle. We had forests like these on the Isle of Val. My grandfather and I used to go for walks together when I could prize him away from his work. It was the least I could do for him, considering everything he's done for me, taking me in when I was an orphan, raising me as his own, and giving me a name. You don't think my parents named me Cryle Baldesian, do you? Thancred may be a capable warrior, but he was wounded when I last saw him. If any beasts were nearby when he emerged from the life stream, he would have been hard-pressed to repel them. He got adopted by them. He's been living with wolves. Were I to find myself in an unfamiliar wilderness, my first instinct would be to seek out signs of civilization. Ordinarily, perhaps, but in his wounded state, he may not have wished to contact with strangers of unknown allegiance. Yet even had Thancred chosen to remain in the forest, the hunters would surely have stumbled across his trail. Tailfeather doesn't strike me as an isolated outpost, though. Merchants and traders pass through reasonably regularly, do they not? In which case, we'll need to provide a more detailed description when we question the locals. Fuckboy. Fear not, Cryle. I've already prepared several sketches of Thancred for that very purpose. Let me see them. Come on, pop up the concept art. This is very impressive. You drew him from memory. A skill I acquired some years ago for reasons I no longer recall. Alphino, you're just all gay yearning is why. I propose we split into two pairs. Ishtola and I will inquire at the outlying encampments, while Erwin and Cryle question the residents of Tailfeather. Afterwards, we shall regroup near Loth Astvath and share our findings. Assuming there are no objections, let us be about it. My, he certainly has matured, hasn't he? Hard to imagine he was once a boy who practiced drawing for hours to impress young ladies. Yeah, specifically it is hard to imagine that. Anyway, we'd best get started. Find me when you've finished making your rounds. I'll just throw a goo-boo on top of everybody who needs talking to in this neighborhood. Lupin. Searching for a friend of yours? Let's have a look then. A surprisingly accurate depiction of the missing Thancred, suggesting that Alphino may have mistaken his life's calling. Anyone like this tried to bone your wife? Nope, ain't seen him around, sorry. Well, you wouldn't have. Thancred does hook up with dudes, but on a strictly down-low basis. Pray excuse me, but have you seen this man before? Malchon. This guy had a voice. What's that you've got there? A sketch? Take a look. Can't say I know the face. You say he's some of a warrior? I heard a tale the other day about a Huron vagabond who brought down a bandersnatch by himself and with style. Way they tell it, he was dancing with the beast like it was the belle of the bleeding ball. Sound like your man? It does, actually. If this friend of yours is as skilled as you say, then he's sure to have found a way to survive. Still, if he's out there on his own, it's only a matter of time before he runs afoul of something he can't handle. So they don't always say the same thing when they were quest dialogue, folks. Good to know. Grimold. The Huron man? We're not exactly rare, you know. Could you be more specific? He's got distinctive neck tattoos. I mean, we could mention those. I did spy this one bloke a while back. Didn't get a good look at his face, but it could have been him. This was beyond the forest, as I recall, along the river to the west of Tailfeather. I remember thinking he wasn't much of a hunter. The lad was making no effort to cover his tracks, see that, and he was carrying an axe instead of a bow. An axe? Has Thancred enjoyed another class change? Perhaps so. Kryl, we've got what we need. Finished? In that case, I think we've learned everything we can here. Let's see what the others have found out. Speak with Kryl. This is a 4th level cleric spell, I think. Smoldering Wastes. We're meeting up in the Smoldering Wastes? But that doesn't sound like a very safe place to meet. Why are we hanging around there? It's smoldering there. And wasteful. Nonetheless, we have little choice but to cruise on over and look for our companions. The end of this game is going to come increasingly into stabbing range. We're here to meet. We were to meet here, were we not? Whew. Alright, why don't we wait faster? That was pretty fast. How you feeling? My apologies for our late arrival. We thought it wise to question as many hunters as we could. The 20th anniversary of 9/11 is coming up, and we are reviewing as a culture all of the incredibly awful media to do with 9/11 that we generated. For example, Dr. Doom lamenting the attacks. Perhaps we should lament the hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people we have murdered in response to those attacks. Seems way worse to me. Many have made camp in inaccessible locations, ideal for hunting game, not so receiving visitors. Nevertheless, our time proved well spent. There have been countless sightings of an exceptionally capable Huron human hunter, with whom no one is familiar. Though none chanced to see the man's face, his height and build match Thancred's description, as does his fighting prowess. Meow. So you have heard some tales. Be that as it may, we yet want for conclusive proof. Mayhap this is unrelated, but I heard a curious tale regarding a Vath trader. He came to Tailfeather in search of garments fit for a man of refinement, which seemed rather curious description for one of his kind. You're implying that Thancred sent a Vath to market in his stead. Why would he not go himself? Well, if you recall, you yourself emerged from the live stream as naked as your name day. It is a scene I shall never forget. Is it now? Why are we making him heterosexually horny? Well, I was pleased to see you. I mean, it was a simple statement of fact. It stands to reason that Thancred had found himself in the same predicament. In that case, if he had dealings with the Vath, they should be able to tell us now. Why didn't we think to go to them as well? Quite right, Kryl, quite right. In the eye of the beholder, onward we crawl. Ishtola. Given that Alvino seems to recall the details of my return so vividly, I would rather he not draw me from memory, talented or not. Honestly, that boy, some things never change. A little slow, a little late. It's Big Bug, what's he doing here? He promised in front of a hive mind not to come back. Well, what are we waiting for? For all we know, Thancred could be waiting for us in Lost Vath. We must go and see the Vath right away. Come along, everyone, come along. Quest accepted. Hello, Mr. Storyteller. What's the haps? Great hunters, we welcome you once more to Loth Ast Vath is what it is. What do you seek this day? We seek a man with whom we are told you may have had certain dealings. How curious, the hunters tire of godly sport and pursue mortal prey. No, he is not prey, but a friend long missing. Good, he is a friend to the Vath as well, one with whom we have traded many times. Truly. And you are quite certain it was this man? There is no doubt. The fleshling clothed in skins came to us from Somal, lost and weak. He offered meat and hides in trade, and in exchange we tended his wounds. He brought us much flesh, so skilled a hunter he was, much flesh. When he asked for garments, we were glad to provide them. And where is he now? Gone to Loth Ast Gnath. Why am I still pronouncing the G? Not long ago, when he heard the One Mind had summoned our god once more. Ravana is returned. The Dofnir did say that the Nath had grown as before, but what could Thancred hope to accomplish by himself? Honored Elder, we thank you for your help. Would that we could repay this kindness ere we depart, but we must hasten to our comrade's side. Go, great hunters, lest the Nath claim him as a sacrifice. Well, my read that it was an effective way to deal with Ravana. One hunter, however skilled, cannot stand against the colony. Go to your friend. We Vath work together and live in freedom. I pity the One Mind that they know not the beauty of freedom. Yes, freedom is a difficult... one moment, work just pinged me. Very reasonable request from Father Boss. We shall put it on the to-do list for next week. Proceed to Loth Ast Nath. I don't know why that's such a tongue twister for me. Oh man, look at that sky. Oh, so last time we did this approach, it was very foggy, right? Or very night, or both. We can see it a lot more clearly now, the spires of Loth Ast Nath. Just had to say that one correctly. I'd blink us right there, but I think that we should savor this approach together. Oh, hush. God damn it. Official Potato just went live, and he is a bird who will wreak havoc upon his enemies. Good. What have we got? Let's see. Ooh, I just got a harrowing feeling in the pit of my stomach at the thought of being in charge while my manager is out next week. There's nothing about my job that I can't do, but I prefer not to make decisions, particularly business-type decisions. Also, my instinct, that's interesting, the ones that the quest spawned were weaker than the ones that that were just standing around. I definitely am very uncomfortable making calls, especially just unilaterally. I'm happy to pitch calls, I just don't want to be the final buck stopper. And, definitely don't want to be making decisions where no one else will see them.
Thancred. It could be Thancred. We must hurry.
Oh right, we came here looking for a person. I forgot about that. What did he see? I was not looking directly at the screen. Ooh. Uh-oh. That ain't Thancred. That's the Warrior of Darkness. So he's out here killing primals, huh? That's a little strange. Maybe that is what they want up there in Askin land. Like they want primals summoned and destroyed, like the constant pulling and return of ether from the world. Destabilizes it, creates a tide. That would make sense. Meteor survivor. Whoa, we're having a moment.
This day, we reclaim the reins of history. This day, we rid ourselves of the Asians forever.
Fools playing at heroes, all of you. Is this how you believe you can save your world?
We can and we will, Asian. You shall see. Or perhaps you will not.
Ours is a struggle that has played out many times.
So you are the warrior of light, the savior of Eorzea. It's a wonder you didn't come sooner, what with the primal and all. Lost a step, have we?
We've dealt with this one, okay? Listen.
The ether moves strangely around him.
It would seem we share a common enemy. Mayhap you would tell us who you are.
Shall we show them?
Oh no. She limit breaking? Shoo. None of those were gonna hit us anyway. It was Tom. Whoa. He's a better black mage than me, that's for sure. Hey, time out. Just having a little echo fit there. Ooh, there he is. Just turning a fan on and off to keep the temperature in here tolerable while insulating the recording from the annoying hum that produces. It's fine, but it's also bad. Ironically, if I just left the mic open all the time, I think it wouldn't even be noticeable, but it's when you can hear it cutting in and out that it becomes irritating.
But so be it.
He's our assist, we tagged him in. This is a gotcha.
Well, our faces, warrior of light. For we are the warriors of darkness. Walkers of a different path. And we shall meet again.
And sooner than when your story is truly told. Wait, they can just use teleportation magic? But it's a big deal for us. We struggle with that.
Warriors of Darkness? Really?
Get better material, boo.
Thancred, are you all right?
Thancred slowly falls in half.
Pleasantries can wait. I'd rather not be here when the Nath arrive. Agreed?
Could we maybe get a little bit more information on why they summoned Ravana again? Why they were even able to? Shouldn't they believe that they're not able to after their god consented not to be summoned? There must be some reason other than conquest. Except that we know that they were conquistadoring because the dragons were complaining about it. So what are we to make of this? Huh? The vision caught me unawares, and I was unprepared for their attack, but I could hear the colony chattering all around us. They were so loud, so unbearably loud. Do you need to sit down? I have water if it'll help. I have water too. We should be safe here. Our pursuers do not like to stray so far from the colony. Oh, I forgot we have a voice for Thancred. It's been so long. Is this a voiced cutscene, or do we get to bring it back? Damn it.
Our reunion was not at all as I pictured it. Waiting until the last instant to join the fray. 'Tis plain you have not lost your appetite for the dramatic.
So it was like it kind of was exactly as you'd pictured it, or should have been picturing it.
Appetite for the dramatic. Have you forgotten the circumstances of our parting? The heroic last stand, the tunnel filling with light, and then... Had I known you intended to use forbidden magics to deliver me to some god's forsaken wilderness, I would have thanked you in advance.
Thancred.
If nothing else, you might have warned me that I would emerge from the live stream in the all together. Eventually, I managed to fashion knives from some obsidian I found, and set about hunting for meat and hides.
He was playing Minecraft.
Given that I'm not all that skilled in leatherworking, it's probably for the best that I met the Vath before I was reunited with you.
Punch that tree, Thancred. Wooden daggers.
So you were the fleshling clothed in skins of whom the storyteller spoke?
We knew that, right? Surely. Didn't we show the...
as ill as the skins themselves. Happily, I was able to trade with the Vath for garments better becoming a man of refinement. From them, I learned of Ravana, and of the great warrior who had once laid him low.
And then you conclude that were you to track the Primal's movements, it would surely bring you into contact with the Scions once more.
I guess on a long enough timeline we would have heard about this, although we hadn't.
I could think of no one else with your enthusiasm for slaying beastmen gods. Until now, that is.
Yeah.
The self-proclaimed warriors of darkness. 'Tis only fitting that they stand in opposition to the warrior of light, I suppose.
Let's not make too many assumptions here, kiddo.
I glimpsed the leaders past, if only for a moment. They were confronting a man in black. An Ascian, I think.
Convenient to have someone else with the echo around who can actually interpret these things for us out loud.
If these warriors are capable of doing battle with Ascians and Primals both, they must be possessed of powerful protection. Protection not unlike the Echo.
Thancred knows all about powerful protection. A little slow, a little late, complete. What's everyone got to say? 'Twould seem the mysteries of the axe wielding here have been laid to rest. I should have known better than to think Thancred would ever stoop to using such an inelegant weapon. But then how was I to know there was not one vagabond wandering the Chocobo Forest, but two? I know what you're thinking, but really you don't need to worry. It will only lend credence to my tales of heroism. Besides, battle scars are to maidens what loose morals are to gentlemen. A definite bonus. Yeah, see, he does hook up with dudes, just doesn't use his name. He's a no-recip bottom. He knew us. He knew you. Did he walk in our memories as we walked in his? Dreams of the lost. Blessed with the power of the Echo and driven to put down primals, despite his declaration that they walk a different path, I do not see how their goals conflict with our... Whoa, how long were we muted there? Nor is that the only oddity. I find it passing strange that such exceptional individuals should have wholly escaped our notice until now. Surely we would have heard rumors and attempted to recruit them to our cause. I recall no such adventurers. We don't soon forget their like. Nor would any of us, I think. One of our primary duties was to scour the city-states for promising candidates, which is how I found Erwin.
Ah, the memories. It seems like only yesterday that you slew your first primal. Speaking of which, I had the distinct impression that it was not the first time that band of merry men and women had killed a god.
I labor to believe that a band of preternaturally gifted adventurers has been traveling the land slaying primals without our knowledge. It would imply gross negligence on our part. Speculation will avail us not. There is far too much we do not know. For the present, we needs must concentrate on what we do know, namely that Lord Ravana is no more. Vidofnir must be informed. The news may render her more receptive to Sir Emmerich's invitation. Since you seem to have affairs well in hand here, I shall take my leave. Simply being in the vicinity of this colony has given me a stinking headache. If you have need of me, I shall be with Master Matoya. I would beg her assistance with the search for Minfilia.
Wait, Minfilia is missing? I thought she escaped with Erwin.
I shall explain on the road. Much has happened in your absence. Hooray! Quest accepted. Dreams of the lost. You going up to talk to the dragon? Looks like we are. Vidofnir, someone solved your problem. I wish we could say that it was us, but I hope that you'll extend us your gratitude, one way or the other. We had not thought to see thee again so soon, mortal. If thou seekest the night, know that she hath long since departed for Ishgard. My thanks, Vidofnir, but it was not for her that we came. We bring good tidings for you and yours. Old Ravana, who'd been summoned by the Nath, has been again laid low. Truly, once more you mortals have succeeded where mine own kind did fail. You have our deepest thanks. Would that we could take credit. The god fell by another's hand. Another. Revelation upon revelation. Regardless, it is cause for celebration. The Nath will have no choice but to withdraw. But to another matter. I have tidings for thee as well. Regarding the Ishgardian's invitation, as promised, I brought the matter to my sire. Hearken to his answer now. For 1,000 years have I mourned my beloved, who gave her life to forge a peace thy king betrayed. It must mean the kind, I think that's a typo. Such was my lot. Until the child of Ishgard came unto me. For want of warmth she wrapped herself in a dream, yet the world will remember her deeds. For truth she fought, for justice she sinned, for redemption she sacrificed, and became as light. To follow one's heart, to have faith in one's convictions, be it for weal, be it for woe. Such is the folly and glory of mankind, and of Dragon. He hath entrusted the choice to us, and we have made it. We will keep faith with you who walk in the light. Then you accept Sir Emmerich's invitation. Let it be known that I, Vidofnir, shall journey unto Ishgard on behalf of my people. We are honored to receive your answer and will convey your words to our allies without delay. It is happening, Izel. Would that you were here to see it. Damn. Really cemented Izel's position as a character there in that.
The return of a long-lost friend. Honorable men plotted to deprive them of another.
Whoa. Somebody gonna assassinate Emmerich? I don't think they're gonna assassinate Emmerich. This dude's pretty put together for a Broomite.
Honorable men, to whom Sir Emmerich was no hero, but a scheming patricide.
Ooh.
What? Oh no. Why?
Honorable men who would fain wash the paving stones of Foundation with the tyrant's blood.
I mean, it's a pretty reasonable perspective, I guess, if you're that propagandized.
Which set the city aflame, and who sang as it burned.
Well, that dude didn't look like... well, who knows? He could easily have been in the employ of wealthy interests. It's hard to know. I mean, it's like, are the American people to blame for being so ignorantly anti-communist, for being so gleefully warlike? I mean, ultimately, every human being is responsible for their own actions, regardless of the context in which they happen. Like, you have to extend agency to people. And also forgiving people doesn't change what they've done, and it certainly doesn't change what they will do. The past is an abstraction. It doesn't really exist. But the future is very real, in spite of not being around yet. So, Irish guardians who don't want to believe, to blame, I guess that doesn't matter. Is it understandable? Maybe, but that's only important to the degree to which you can turn that understanding into bringing them around.
Fortunately, the journey afforded us ample time to brief Thancred on recent events. So you slew a handful of primals, chatted with Emperor Garlemald, uncovered the truth behind a 1,000-year war, thwarted a megalomaniacal archbishop's ambitions, then rode home on the back of the Father of Dragons. Does that about sum it up?
That's pretty good. Right. Let us not keep Sir Emmerich waiting. Are you quite well, Thancred?
Yeah, quite well. Forgive me, you've given me rather a lot to digest. This whole affair with the Ishgardians and the Dravanians and our friends nowhere to be found. 'Twould seem there's no end to our troubles.
We can't but face them head on, one at a time. For now we must apply ourselves to the allotted tasks, and leave the others to theirs. Remember, Thancred, we found you as they found me. In time we'll find Ida and Papalimo and Minfilia as well. These troubles will soon be but a memory, on which we'll look back on together.
Pray do not misunderstand. I didn't mean to imply that it would be otherwise.
That doesn't quite come together as a sentence.
I merely wish that I'd rejoined our grand adventure in one of its less triumphal moments. Despite your recent accomplishments, the mood here is less than celebratory.
He wishes he'd rejoined in more triumphal moments, yes.
But I have no doubt that we will enjoy many more glorious victories soon enough. And you may rest assured that I'll play my part in the very hilt.
Whew, we're not doing great. We're stumbling, we're stuttering. I know you will. So then, to the congregation. I think bad news awaits us there. Hey, it's Hilda. Oh good, you're back. Things got a bit heated while you were away. You've returned, and this, at least, the fates are kind. Greetings, First Commander. It pleases me to inform you that Vidofnir has accepted Sir Emmerich's invitation. She has? These are glad tidings indeed. Would that the Lord Commander were here to hear them. Is he otherwise engaged? Aye, sleeping off a knife to the gut. What? What happened? Will he live? The chirurgeons tell me he will make a full recovery, but had Lord Edmond and Lord Artoirel not been on ahead when the assassin struck, he would not have been so fortunate. For a mercy, they subdued the fiend before he could land the telling blow. The attack was just the beginning, though. Not long after, buildings all around the city, including several of ours, burst into flame. Bastards caught us completely by surprise. We've been dousing the fires, but for everyone we put out, it seemed like 2 more start up. Casualties are mounting, especially in the Broom. Tis plain these fires were started by the assassin's conspirators. Until they've been rounded up, there'll be no end to this. Will you help us find them? then let us be about it. Dreams of the lost. Even if we had the same resources to combat the fires as them up in the pillars, we'd still be fighting a losing battle. You've seen the Broom. All them narrow streets with wooden houses crammed together, it's kindling is what it is. Do cities burn for days at a time? Just as Sir Emmerich risked his life to bring about lasting change, so too will others wager all to preserve what they hold dear. It's actually not true. None of the people who want to preserve the status quo will ever risk anything for it. They'll just say horrible things. The Archbishop may have fallen, but the legacy his predecessors endures.
Louis Soir once told me that man is all too willing to let his future be bound by his past. And time after time I've witnessed how depressingly right he was.
Against the dying of the light. The flames are spreading. We must needs begin our investigation immediately. Witnesses must be found, suspects identified. Have you been able to determine the precise location where the fires were set? Mayhap there's a pattern. If there is, we've yet to discern it. Fires have been reported throughout the city in both the pillars and foundation. Indeed, given the size of the area affected, I think it best to divide our forces. Master Alphino and Mistress Ishtola, I would have you take charge of the investigation in foundation. As you wish. Mayhap the Taru can be of assistance as well. Mean and Longpoint and me get the pillars, Erwin. They'll like me up. Oof. Oh, they'll like me up there. Only question is, will the grizzled old rogue striking a pose over there be joining us?
Thank her to the signs of the seventh dawn, and I say what a pleasure it is to meet you too, my lady.
I'll bet. My name's Hilda. Scion, eh? There I was thinking I'd found a fellow ruffian amongst all these illustrious pillaged personages. I'll remain here to coordinate the fire-quenching effort. If you learn aught of value, pray inform me immediately. That is all. Was the city visibly on fire when we walked through it just now? I wasn't paying attention. I guess we didn't even get it on tape.
While we could begin by sifting through the charred rubble and questioning random passersby, in my experience, every town has at least one individual who could be counted on to know things whether he or she should. To know things whether he or she should not. Jesus. Falling apart.
Oh, aye, the infamous Lord of Monoland de Fortoms, lover of women and wine, though neither care for him that much. They say he could gossip for Ishgard. Took a second to parse what that meant, like at Olympic standard.
Just the sort of fellow I had in mind. Capital suggestion, Erwin.
That was my idea. He'll be at the Crozier, most like, making an effort to be seen. Let's go and see him.
Grizzled, I'll accept, but old? Ugh.
Just lose the beardlet, boyo. You'll look younger in no time. You'll look young. Whomst is messaging me? One moment. Oh, whoa, okay. Nobody heard that. That's fine. I wouldn't say anything of any value. Somebody's messaging me, sorry. Muted the tab so it won't leak.
Someone once said that a gentleman is rather than does. And Lord of Monoland, I sense we have living proof.
Well, go on then, talk to the daft sod. Master Erwin, I fear Manolan has once more strayed from the path. As has so often been the case, his renewed enthusiasm for martial training gave way to frustration and disinterest at the first sign of difficulty. I love Onawa, he's so good. Well, what voice was he? He was just fop, right?
Well, if it isn't Longpoint, dearest of all my friends, you're looking rather glum. Something the matter, old boy?
Meow. God, Erwin is such a hot fucking body. Look at this dude. He's so compact and firm. It's disgusting. I'm ashamed of his perfect figure. The way he holds himself, just like, look, it's me, a washboard. Ugh. He's too good for us.
Ah, yes, the arson's dreadful business, that, and awfully curious, wouldn't you say? There doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to it at all. Naturally, we've doubled the guard on the manor, along with most of the other houses. Can't have the old pile going up in flames after all. Oh, in case you were wondering why the Hoplin is awash with refugees, the lower levels of the vault have been opened to those unfortunate souls who've lost their homes. Ceremonial orders, from what I hear. Remarkable man, not even a knife in the ribs can keep him from his duties. Actually, old boy, if you were thinking of questioning the refugees, I should be more than happy to accompany you to the Hoplin. While you conduct your inquiries, I could offer words of comfort to the distressed and despondent young maidens. Wait a moment, you know what that is. I know what that is. You're giving me one of your looks, aren't you? You do me an injustice, old boy. I shall have you know my heart yearns for but one rose, prickly though she may be. I sense you remain unconvinced. Very well. If it will help to prove the purity of my intentions, I shall gracefully rescind my offer. Now run along and catch those arsonists. That was not entirely what I'd hoped for. Whose idea was it to come here again? Never mind. For our next step, I suggest we divide our efforts. While you question the refugees in the Hoplin, Erwin?
Ugh, delivery's so bad right now.
I shall investigate the locations where the fires were set. Would you be so good as to join me, Hilda?
I think Hilda likes him.
You know what? I reckon I would. Can't have you roaming about in an unfamiliar city by your lonesome, can we? You'll only get robbed blind and left shivering in your small clothes.
I kind of hope she breaks his heart. That'd be very funny. Oh, it's so frustrating to me when I say something that's just like the slightest bit obscure or creative, and someone responds like, "What do you mean? I don't understand." Can't handle it.
I should detain you no longer, old boy. Good luck with your investigation.
My lord is a gentleman of unassailable principles. To assail them, after all, one would first need to locate them. This game is so... the script is so good. I don't understand why it's so good. It's just that the bar is so low, right? I mean, it's just like reading a novel with charming dialogue, or a TV show, basically. Was it The Last Vigil? I think it was The Last Vigil. You know, it's like just on par with like a Joss Whedon show, although I think in retrospect, the Joss Whedon shows were not as funny as they seemed when we were young. I don't know, maybe that's unfair. Just because he's a massive shithead does not mean that the comedy doesn't land. Obviously, the pull yourself together, we'll find a way, we always do. I just don't. Unruffled refugee.
Ours is one of the first times to be claimed, but I don't see how the fire began. It was only when I heard our neighbours shouting that I looked back and saw the flames. Barely escaped with the clothes on our backs. Were it not for the church's generosity, I don't know what we'd do.
It's funny how the entire structure of your society, can you say what you will about the Archbishop, but I'll not hear a word spoken against the clergy. Oh, I was just listening to a podcast, another Chapo-affiliated podcast, about how Mormonism in the United States was, or at least can be described as, a reaction against the atomization of early industrial society. A society where people are sort of working wage labor for the first time in history, which it's interesting to think that that's not in any sense an old means of jobbery, that basically dates only to the Industrial Revolution. And you definitely can kind of see some of that going on here. Like, hey, guess what? This is a rigidly hierarchical society, but the reality is that at the very least, it is a society where people have relations that exist outside of trade relationships. The commoners are understood as the commoners, and there is an understood obligation to them as well as from them. And not that that's good, but that is something that you would hope could progress to a more egalitarian and just society, rather than in the capitalist direction where every individual is a monad that serves only as a pair of hands and problem-solving mind, with no true relationships to anyone except for, you know, the subjugation relationship to their employer. Vault Priest. I was talking to Bob about what this channel is about, and they were like, so it's kind of like a journal, which I've said before. And it's like, yeah, it is kind of like a journal, except that I don't really like to talk about my life, because usually the things that I don't talk about in my life are just really depressing things that I don't want to necessarily be reminded of if and when I revisit these. But I'll happily talk about all kinds of bullshit about the structure of society. It is a journal perhaps in the common sense, the traditional sense, only of whatever thoughts are streaking through the universe and so my mind about the disorders of American society, particularly from an economic perspective, because I'm a socialist and not a reactionary.
Come, my brothers and sisters, there is food and shelter enough for all in the Basilica.
Aloni's blessings be upon you, Father. I confess we were not sure we should come. There's so many unbelievable tales these days about the Archbishop and Sir Emmerich and the Trevanians.
Trust in your heart, brother, and pay no heed to the lies of lesser men. They seek only to lead you astray. Do you require succor as well, sir?
I mean, I've probably got like a fortune in armor on right now, so... Yeah, this armor's worth more than Ishgard.
So the Temple Knights have begun their investigation at last? Good. This madness has gone on far too long. Would that I could do something to aid you in your search. But I have a duty to these poor souls. Farewell, and may the Fury guide your steps.
Yes. What is Haloni's deal, anyway? Like, there hasn't really been a lot about that. I guess we don't really hear a lot about the 12. There's a 12, right? Not the 7. The 7 is, 7 is... Westeros. Maeli. Izel. It's all gone. Everything's gone.
There was a man with a satchel. I saw him leaning outside the window, and there was smoke everywhere, and it was so hot, and I couldn't breathe. I don't remember how I made it out. I suppose I must have climbed. Maybe my arm is getting better after all.
Oh, was she? Have we encountered her before? What did we do to deserve this? So as we were observing, just as that witch is defined as much by the things she owns as her experience, the experience of being dispossessed, especially when you had little to begin with, is... Well, I mean, it's not even a question of little to begin with, but little to go back to, little to rebuild from. It's like, who am I now? All of my stuff is gone. There is nothing unprofound about this. Human beings... Even before industrial society, before agricultural society, were always about stuff. Stuff that we had, tools, places that we had shaped into forms that we could use, that were appropriate for us. We build our environment, and part of that environment is stuff. To take it away is to change our species membership. That is why the material deprivation of billions is such a travesty. It is a denial of people's essential humanity. Your humanity is not defined by which kind of iPhone you have, but it certainly is defined, affected, circumscribed by whether or not you have a cell phone, whether or not you have access to telepathy, infinite learning, and infinite community. That is a part of what species you belong to, and it can only be achieved through possessions. And you may think that possessions isn't even the right way, because obviously personal ownership is not the essential thing there, but through objects that you have access to.
Vanished man. Ah, there you are. Anything to share? We'll require more than the muddled testimony of a traumatized girl if we're to identify the culprits. While you were questioning the refugees, we inspected the scenes of several of the fires, including one near San Raimon's Raimonos Cathedral, and another near the Tribunal. For a mercy, neither structure suffered significant damage. Some might say they were spared by the grace of the Fury. Others might question just how so ruthlessly efficient arsonists could try to fail so miserably on 2 occasions when their target was a bastion of Asgardian orthodoxy. Nothing conclusive, of course, but it does give one cause to wonder. Alphinaud will doubtless have an opinion.
Oh no, Captain Tastic just linked me a picture of the Towers Tarot, like 9/11. I wanna die. Nah. You think about how successful 9/11 was, how, you know, if bin Laden's goal was to allow American society to fully destabilize itself. I mean, the destabilization was inevitable anyway. It's fucking capitalism, baby. It's not a stable equilibrium. but wanted to hasten that along. He certainly achieved that. We just gave him everything he wanted. Absolutely 100%. I mean, assuming that that really was what he wanted. I don't think that... I'm not a student of Bin Laden's motivations. I don't know to what degree he was genuinely motivated by a sort of specifically religious fervor, and to what degree it's better to understand it as a material complaint against U.S. intercession in the Middle East, or if it's just a combination of those two things. Those two things can certainly intersect. I would like to be allowed to implement my religious fervor in the Middle East and U.S. intervention in the Middle East, genocidal and dictatorship installing as it is prevents that. But, if his motivations were what America likes to say his motivations were, then America gave him the win. He didn't win through the crashing of the planes. He won through all the insane shit that we've done since, because we are an abomination of a country. You should have seen the way Alphino tackled him. Good work, boy. Good, now that you're here, we can proceed with the interrogation. Well, good thing you handled this while we weren't even here. That's a first, that we didn't have to be present for every single thing that happens. Silence will avail you not, sir. We've got a weird mind reader coming. Erwin was just about to summon you. As you can see, we have detained a suspect. We found this man loitering near the remains of one of the stricken buildings. According to eyewitnesses, he was also present before the fires broke out. We wished to have words. He did not. So we insisted.
Let me go, damn it, you've got the wrong man.
But you reek of oil. And are those burns on your hands? An occupational hazard, I suppose. But tell me, does arson pay well?
I'm a victim, you imbecile. Look at me.
Aye, that you are, after a fashion. You should know that your pious patron has already spun us a delightful yarn about how his pet mongrel slipped the leash and set about burning half the city to the ground. Not very noble of him, I grant you, but then these highborn types rarely do show loyalty to their pets.
He's doing the gambit, saying you've already got a confession.
In fact, he called you rabid and begged us to put you down.
That's bollocks. He's the one what told me to keep going.
Oh, you fucked up. Although, honestly, it's probably in your best interest to come clean.
Even such a sinner as me could find salvation in the Fury's work, he said. I left it behind, tried to with all my heart, said my prayers every day like a good man. But he came to me. He came to me.
And there you have it. Hilda, would you be so kind as to escort our friend here to the congregation?
Aye, so long as you don't mind if he's limping when he gets there. Honestly, I have no interest in punishing this particular perpetrator. That was incredible, Thancred, but how'd you know you'd confess?
Well, I've seen his like before. A troubled soul manipulated by men of power and wielded as a weapon.
Is he referring to himself?
I could not be certain, of course, but given the stakes, I thought it worth the risk.
And if our captive is called your bluff?
Must we entertain hypotheticals? The world as it is vexing enough.
Thank you, Thancred. Whether by luck or judgment, we have at last confirmed that these arsons were orchestrated by a person or persons of influence. I think it best that we now return to the congregation and discuss how best to proceed.
Yes, about that.
Goddamn it, JRPGs, if the conversation is 2 lines, just engage the conversation. Thank the 12 you returned to us, but what happened to your old outfit? Is Thancred a never nude? Is he embarrassed to reference that he was naked at one point, even though there's no witnesses or anything? It's just the very thought of being stripped bare. He is very focused on that fly zipper. One moment, I should check on that conversation I was having. I have a feeling that one of my coworkers, who's been just failing to deliver stuff for a month now, is doing that I took 2 full-time jobs while working from home during COVID thing, which, I mean, I have no theoretical objection to that, but he is absolutely not doing this job, so it's dude. The Temple Knights are interrogating the arsonists as we speak. God willing, we shall have more information ere long. If we could but determine the motive behind these fires. Bit of a gambler, ain't he? Fine by me, as long as his luck don't run out. Luthia. On behalf of the Holy See of Ishgard, I thank you all. The man you apprehended is being interrogated as we speak, though he fell silent upon realizing that we had not turned his master. He will soon tell us what he knows, one way or the other. You got excellent torturers back there, I guess.
Pardon the intrusion, First Commander.
Ah, Lord Artwarel. You come to see your father? He is attending Sir Emmerich in his chambers at present.
I am.
He bid me to bring this salve. Then do not let me detain you, and thank you for your kindness, my lord.
In times of trouble, every man must do his part. Would that I could do more.
Big bow. Stumble out the door. My Lord Artwarel did not seem to be in the best of spirits. 'Tis little wonder, Master Alphino. His father is widely slandered, and his half-brother not yet cold in the grave. Oop. And here is the final quest of 3.1. Right here. The past belongs to the dead. Future's ours to do with what we will. It was not so long ago, was it? How desperately we cling to that which we hold dear, knowing all the while that a day will come when we must let it go. No more farewells, not for a good while yet at least. There rolls the deep, where grew the tree. O earth, what changes hast thou seen? There where the long street roars have been the stillness of the central sea. The hills are shadows, and they flow from form to form, and nothing stands. They melt like mists, the solid lands. Like clouds, they shape themselves and go. But in my spirit will I dwell, and dream my dream and hold it true. For though my lips may breathe adieu, I cannot think the thing farewell. Lord Alfred Tennyson's In Memoriam, a line of poetry I encountered while taking the SATs that really seared itself into my brain. And for years I would think back on. Little on now, I think things are transient and do pass, and it is very easy to think of them as gone. But things endure. As goes light, so goes darkness.
I do not mean to diminish our accomplishments, but until we identify the ones who ordered the fires set, our work is far from finished.
Between the various conservative and religious factions in Ishgard, I dare say there's no shortage of parties who would like to see the status quo preserved. Do any likely suspects spring to mind?
People we know.
To count.
I mean,
Lord Commander, your wounds.
I mean, the people who benefit from the society that we know most are the non-comedy Frenchman and his family.
Time is of the essence. Lest we forget, these men would sooner put their own city to the torch than see it change. When our enemies learn that we have apprehended their arsonist, there is no telling how they will react.
Lord Commander, an armed mob has seized control of the vault.
Ooh.
And now we know. Tell us what happened, sir. Spare no detail.
What's in there that's so important? The chair?
We were directing refugees into the Basilica, as you ordered, when all of a sudden, men brandishing weapons were all around us. It happened so fast, my lord. We had no time to respond. They've taken the refugees hostage and barricaded themselves inside the vault.
And they sent you to deliver their demands.
They, the true brothers of the faith, demand that a conclave to select the next archbishop be held forthwith. Furthermore, they declare that you, Lord Commander, are guilty of patricide and high treason, and that you must surrender yourself at once to receive of the Fury's judgment.
Of course it's the Giles-looking motherfucker who is at their head. The true brothers of the faith?
Ridiculous! I mean, do they honestly think that executing Sir Emmerich would change anything? That the truth will somehow die with him?
Never doubt the power of persecuting a whistleblower.
Against the passing of the old ways, unable to accept there can be no going back.
Given the fanciful nature of their demands, a peaceful resolution does not seem likely. If the hostages are to be rescued, it will be by force, I fear.
Agreed. Lucia, take a contingent of knights and establish a perimeter outside the entrance.
I'm glad that we're not trying the hand over Emmerich approach. I don't think that would have gone well.
I need your people out in force throughout the Broom. When word spreads of the situation, the friends and family of the hostages may try to take matters into their own hands. I will not give these militants more targets. I shall lead the assault on the vault. Master Alphino, can I count on the support of the Scions?
Oh, well, sure, of course. What are you talking about? We're done. I'm very busy. I have to go look for my other shithead friends. We've already rescued the one shithead friend, really. I hope... Did I say this already, or did I merely think it? That I hope that, that Calamity Jane breaks Thancred's heart.
Your assistance is most welcome, Lord Atwarel. To arms, then, friends. Time is against us.
I kind of forgot that the last quest would not probably just be a short conversation. Like, I was like, oh, I guess we'll resolve this in 3.2. No, I don't think so. I think we'll resolve it now. Rendezvous with Emmerich and the Pillars. Not the first time someone's had that sitting as the most recent message on their phone. Jeweled Crozier at night. Alphino, what do you think about all this? Ready when you are, Erwin. Concentrate on freeing the hostages. I will tend to their wounds.
Just like old times, eh?
Do not concern yourself with my safety, lest you forget I too am a knight. Listen well, when we will enter the Basilica silently via this gate. According to our latest reports, there are at least 6 hostages being held within. The numbers and readiness of the true brothers of the faith are unknown. I am told one claimed to have served under Thornton VII. Might the same be true of the rest? Given the swiftness with which they seized control of the vault, I think it highly likely, yes. Which means that they may well possess the knowledge required to turn the building's defenses against us. Be that as it may, we have no choice but to press on. Lord Atwarel, you are a brave man and true, and none would dare question your honor. You chose not to risk your life in this endeavor. Are you certain you wish to join us? I'm no stranger to the battlefield, Sir Emmerich. My arm will not falter. My shield will not break. Beloni is my witness. We will bring these fanatics to justice. Well said, my lord. Friends, follow me. Sure, I'm always following people into very easy instances. Hey, Emmerich the Blue, Atwarel Ironbone, and Thancred. Remember, saving the hostages take precedence over all else. Mind your attacks. Lay down your arms or die by them. Can we get everybody in range? No, one person is going to insist on staying out of range. Of course they are. How did they? How did they? They're here. Goodbye, Vault Hunter. I don't want to die. Anything else to say than that? Are you injured? Bless you. Yeah, I guess it's like a you must hurry. The others were taken elsewhere by Sir Simeonard. Sir Simeonard. So this is Sir Simeonard. This is indeed the work of the Archbishop's
former servants. On your guard, they've sounded the alarm. I will hold the entrance and look after this one. Now go. There's gonna be more hostages. I mean, we need to do more than just that. If this is a hostage situation, we decided to just storm the building? What if they just started killing people, dudes? I mean, in the grand scheme, okay, maybe that is what needs to happen, but we could have... Tell them to come to me. Now go. Sure. Let's plow onward. Secure the hostage, Erwin. Leave the others to us. Sure.
Down with you!
Down with me? I'm the most popular man in this city. It's Sir Emmerich. He's come to kill us. What did you expect? Like, what do you think? These are not non-lethal weapons that we are equipped with here, my friends. No, please. It's over now. Is it over? We already told you. They took the others somewhere. It also happened so quickly. They're gonna sacrifice some of the refugees. There they are. Let none escape. I have a bad feeling about this. Sorry. Oh, this dude ran over to greet us as we were chatting flirtatiously with someone on a World of Darkness chat. Why not? Vault Ostiary. Vault Auditor. Counting the bones. Together they count bones. Think these chess pieces are going to come to life? Oh, well, we're going the other way, so probably not those ones, at least. But we were anticipating the vault's defenses being turned against us, right? To the choir! What is a choir? Artoirel, you're looking injured. And I guess I can't heal him because of how we've been downscaled. Sir Simeonard, lay down your arms and release the hostages, and you will be shown mercy. I give you my word. Ha! The word of a heretic and a kinslayer. I would sooner trust a dragon. Activate the knights. We shall show the hostages the same mercy they showed the archbishop. Unlike you, Sir Emmerich, I am a man of honor. By my hand, you shall receive of the Fury's judgment. So it is to be a trial, then. Lord Artoirel, Erwin, leave us and save the hostages. I will deal with Sir Simeonard. We should look up the records of trials by combat. Do they have a history of turning out justly? So far, we're going to be 2 for 2, I assume. O Helone, render unto us your judgment. Raise up the righteous and cast down the wicked. Come then, let us see who the Fury favors. Sir Emmerich is still wounded, Longpoint. If we don't move quickly, he will surely fall. What are we trying to do? This way? Where are we supposed to be going right now? Okay, looks like another door opened over here. So why'd we go that way? Yep, there we go. They're just attacking these hostages. These people have as much resilience as, like, tanks, basically. I'll do anything. I beg of you. Okay, well, you don't need to do anything. This rescue's on the house. Bonds. There must be others nearby, but where? Over here? There's only really the one path through this level, I think. Traitor! Kinslayer! By what sorcery do you yet stand? Enough! All of you attack! Well, over there, I guess? Do we have to go around this way? Oh, shit. These refugees are following us. Following us is not a healthy kind of thing to do. It looked like the refugees were behind this wall over here. Didn't we come down this hallway already? I guess it's all a maze. It's a maze and a chessboard. And the chess theme is all over here. Look at the floor. Please don't kill this refugee. What would the point of killing her be? You haven't prevented us from storming the place. So what? So why are we... That's interesting. The one bond that we untied before counted as 2 because there were 2 people in bondage.
I see no others nearby. So where is the final hostage, please? I would like a clue. Some kind of indicator as to where I should be going. This way? Something, please? Emmerich is like dying. I don't really want to have to do this again. Do you? You know, most of the game likes to tell us where we're supposed to go when we've been asked to do something. And doesn't put us on a timer. This is not going well. I don't see where on earth we're supposed to be headed now. Oh, okay, over there. I see some combat going over there. Emmerich has 12, 11. Sprint is down. This is bad. This is bad. This is bad. We gotta bring everything. 6? Okay, Emmerich is toast. I think this is a fail. Did we just walk past this before? I don't understand how this happened. This is oh, no, okay, this wasn't a hostage. This is just a fight going on. Duty failed. Alright, I guess I get to do it again. Where the fuck is the final hostage? Okay. So, we got people we need to save. Here's the 2 again. I should really have looked this up. But in my stubbornness, I did not. Time is truly of the essence here, if we are to be confused as to what the fuck we're supposed to do. Get them bonds, please. Two hostages, the others must be nearby, but where? I too would like to know that, Artorel. I see one place where there is fighting. And no other places. Traitor, Kinslayer, by what sorcery do you yet stand? Enough, all of you, attack! Oh, that's when his health really starts to go down. So much for the single combat under Helona's eye, huh? Yup, let's deal with this, huh? Okay, no need for a single target. Or no need for AoE, rather. Move over to the... Zoop. Okay, so here we are. Jeez, it's taking a long time to undo that knot. I see no others nearby. Come, Aaron. Oh, okay, so we were supposed to just go back to fucking Emmerich. I see. You've confused me and successfully eaten 5 minutes of my life. I'll remember this, Final Fantasy XIV. You've never wasted my time before, and now you start? What kind of a relationship is this that we have? What is a gamer to think? Well done. Now let us finish this, sir, before the eyes of gods and men. Stand fast, my brothers. The fury is with us. You're a huge dork, and we're just gonna kill all of you. Can I taunt that one off? Because I would happily do so. Yes, I can. One day, I swear, you will die? Yes, welcome to mortality. Welcome to living on this bitch of an earth. Ragged refugee. You're rescued. Fury be praised. You must hurry. The priest took Melee upstairs. When she saw you killed his men. Have no fear, child. It will save your friend.
Where is he? Where is he?
Oh shit, we're not auto-advancing. Ooh. These, much as the American Empire, there is no assessment of whether what they're doing should give them any indication as to whether they're on the right side or not.
You have nowhere to run. Release the girl and surrender.
No, I'm gonna walk all the way out, holding her over a cliff.
The blasphemer who throws wide the gates to our enemy, who breaks bread with him and calls him brother. Ungodly swine! I would sooner die than surrender to you.
Is it godly to spill the blood of an innocent child? To burn the homes of your brothers? Tell me, priest, is that godly?
Historically, yes. In this particular church and in general.
Of godliness, heathen. Your father's blood is on your hands, as is hers.
Yeah. Oh boy. I think the dragon's gonna catch her. Ooh, I think that the dragon's gonna catch her on their way to... Yeah, she's gonna land on a dragon's back. Maybe? Oh, maybe not. Oh no, maybe this is gonna be dire. Yeah, dragon's gonna catch her. It's the only way they can move this forward. Yep, there we go. Yes! Yeah! Yes! Should really probably have music playing right now, though, people. How else were they going to advance the plot of the dragons are on our side now? It is funny they only have the one landing animation for dragons, though, that's like really intimidating. The raid start animation.
Well met, knight. Mayhap I chose an inopportune moment.
Yeah, I can't believe you showed up. This was my problem, okay? You're really stepping on things here.
Pray forgive us this most unworthy reception. We are honored to have you with us, and right glad of your aid.
That's what I meant to say. Just in case you can't get the self-deprecating sarcasm.
I had but to receive her.
A coup, really. There's no chance that that was engineered, but if it had been, it would have been very, very smart and evil. I mean, I guess not evil if it were done carefully, right? If they had arranged it without anyone actually being in peril, then it would have been brilliant, but it was quite clear there was a lot of death going on there. So, I don't think that's what happened at all. I think this is just sentimental and effective storytelling. I do like the kind of twist that you can see just before it happens. If I had thought that instantly when I looked at him holding her, I still probably would have liked it, but a little less. That it clicked right at the last moment was good. That is the appropriate kind of
to be indebted to so unexpected a savior. But full glad am I to be so.
Yeah, that was, as I say, people were going to call it suspicious just how good a PR win that was right there.
Warrior of warriors, I had hoped to meet with thee.
Everybody else knew how to pronounce her name. We were the only ones who didn't.
I bear a message from my sire.
From Bracefelder?
Well, he probably does have two dads, on balance, but...
Upon returning to our lands, Nidhogg's shade did sing unto his brood, and they for skies unknown did then take wing. This thou must know, for your fates are inextricably bound.
Because his sister is still swimming around in your blood.
Justinian? Is he truly lost to us?
Such matters are beyond my ken. I but bear my father's words. Take from them what thou wilt.
Justinian survival really not a priority here, honestly. Like, that is a true, like a tertiary matter. Wait, that's it? She's gonna show up and I thought we're gonna have a summit. I guess that was it.
So it is as they say then. A great white dragon swooped down from the heavens to rescue an innocent child.
Wait, when did they've been saying that for the last 45 seconds?
Unexpected turn of events, but not an unwelcome one. The people will not soon forget this day.
Yeah, it's almost as if someone arranged for it, although pretty sure they didn't.
Remember it, Sir Emmerich. And will these events serve to bring man and dragon closer together, or drive a deeper wedge between brothers?
That's a very dire way to evaluate things, Fortin.
After 1,000 years, the world these men once knew is changing, and with ungentle swiftness to boot. Though their actions are misguided, their sentiments are only to be expected. You may be sure that others will rally to their cause. I share your desire for lasting peace with the Jovanians, I do. But I would not see it built on the bones of our countrymen, nor on our own.
If that would work, I would do it. I'm just not sure that it would.
I see much of Horsefon you, and I could not bear to mourn the passing of another son.
Damn it!
Lord Edmund.
That dude seems like he's got some bitterness in him. I hope he does not become asshole. What have you got to say about these things?
Well, that was timely. The Vidofnir must have been circling for hours.
Yeah, that's very possible. In the moments before Vidofnir appeared, I contemplated teleporting the girl. Thank the 12 that I did not. It might have gone badly. Yeah, probably Vidofnir was like thinking out there, thinking big, slow dragon thoughts, and just called to act. So, oh shit, god damn it.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say she timed her departure rather less well than her arrival.
Wait, what?
Well, time scarcely does it justice, but one moment later would have been a moment too late.
Let us pray that the Ishgardians who yet harbored doubts will take these events to heart and accept the truth of Sir Emmerich's words. Well, it is only meet that I inform Tataru of what has occurred here. If you have need of me, I shall be at Forton Manor.
Allow me to accompany you. Tataru would never forgive me if I left for the Rising Stones without saying goodbye.
Not gonna hang out here, dude. Everything is happening here. He's probably gonna go look for the other Scions, I guess, so he might have to travel. A moment, Erwin. I wish a word. Tell me, does Thancred seem quite well to you? He got on well enough with Hilda. I'm not sure how to put it into words, but, this is what we've observed, right? That he seems to have a crush?
That I have no doubt. His time in the wilderness did not deprive him of his charm. But that is neither here nor there. What concerns me is his etheric flow, which I fear has been irreparably disrupted. As a result, I suspect that his ability to manipulate ether has been compromised. Simply put, Thancred may no longer be able to wield magics. It would do much to explain why he chose to remain within the wilderness instead of seeking us out. He would have been compelled to rely solely on traditional methods of travel, significantly prolonging his journey.
As usual, Final Fantasy XIV answers the questions that we have. It's never quite conclusive, but there's enough of it that it's like, okay.
When he learned that a nearby beast tribe was making preparations to summon a primal, it may well have seemed more sensible to wait. But this is still little more than speculation. Until I have proof, pray speak no more of it. Right then, I should be on my way.
Cryo may have charmed Master Matoya for now, but who can say how long that will last?
Did we leave Cryo with Matoya? Alright, we are nearly done, and we're coming in at just over 2 hours. Aesthetically displeasing, but a worthy accomplishment. I may come back to this evening. I definitely want to. I would love to be able to get through 3-1 and 3-2 in a single night. There was only 10 quests, though, and it took us 2 hours, or about 10-ish. I think that there are 2 longer patches and 2 shorter ones. Oop, can't just walk in. Well, come, Master Erwin, shall I show you inside the manor? Yes, please. What time is it? Tataru. What Edmund told me all about what Vidovnir did. Gods, how I wish I'd been there to see that. Just check out my phone.
That Vidovnir should chance to arrive even as the girl fell. Truly, I could not have planned it better myself.
Yeah, as we keep saying, it kind of seems like someone did. Do dragons remember forward in time?
Ah, good. We were afraid you might have left.
Arturel, you're not going to have a freak out, are you? Because I ain't like you. Yeah, he does look just like the Holy Brother. I was thinking you reminded me of the attendant.
A shield, my lord?
Oh boy. It's just like Archfons.
An expression of our gratitude to you and yours. Long overdue.
Is there a high-res texture pack? I think there might be. Like it's a mod, but... Just like the one we left at
There is something
Orphal's
else I
grave.
would discuss ere you part. Something which cannot leave this room.
Yeah.
My father will soon step down as head of our house.
Oh, wow.
Sir Emmerich was not the only one to fall under suspicion following the death of the Archbishop. There are some who believe my father complicit in a coup d'etat.
Well, I mean,
Thus he
we
intends
did
to renounce his
coup
title to
that.
absolve our house of suspicion and secure the support of our peers.
Surely there must be another way to convince houses Durandare and Zemail.
So I said to him, alas, he will not budge.
What's he gonna do? Is he gonna join the Scions?
Ever since I was a child, I knew that I would one day succeed my father. The thought of it filled me with pride. Yet once I learned the day was at hand, my heart was filled with naught but dread.
Making decisions is bad.
Our legacy is built upon the lies of our forefathers. In accepting this title, am I not perpetuating this injustice? Why should I become the next count?
Good point. Maybe you should just distribute your lands to the people. Hang on, neither of these is my answer. What are you talking about, lives to serve? Lives to profit off of the labor of others is a more accurate description of that relationship. What Erwin would say is, good point. Break up the estate, distribute it to the people who work for the estate. What the fuck, dude? The answer is not complicated. I cannot. These two people are just being horny in this public chat, just for no reason.
I suspect that is what Horchefon would have said. To aid those in need. When you look on that shield, I trust you will remember his words. And should I once more find my resolve wavering, I ask that you show me the way. You were a brother to Horchefon. Will you be a brother to me as well?
Sure, dude. I mean, I'm no brother to kings.
Come, Manolane. There's much to be done. For
Manolane is such a dipshit. He's not looking at anything. His eyes are unfocused. He does not know what's going on. Farewell, buddy. You're the only sane man here.
To think we share the same blood. Pray excuse us.
It is hard to imagine, isn't it?
Those were the days of promises and vows, of tentative first steps into an uncertain future. A future shaped by the choices we made, in ways we could never have foreseen.
What does that mean?
Born of good and evil, of light and darkness, and shepherded by our hand.
Yeah, what was the deal with those warriors of darkness people? That seemed important.
Or be it for woe.
From the memoirs of Count Edmond de Forton, heaven's word, as goes light, so goes darkness. Yeah, it's Edmond's diary. Not diary, but autobiography? I guess it's a history that he wrote, right? And there, friends, is patch 3.1. A little meandering at first. I'm a little resentful of the scion fetching, but overall, I think, whoa, wait, what?
This is thy proof? The Geron Oracles, Apocrypha.
It is a truth long wait, this is somebody else. It is a truth long forgotten, a tale of the beginning, and of the path we have been set upon. Ooh, what? Ooh. Wait. Our fates were ordained long ago, Archon. The Garleans are no exception, nor the Triad. You know what must be done. The Triad, like the Warring Triad? Ooh. Uh-oh. Alice A is getting wind of this strange collaboration.
Well?
With the Pablamo voices, yeah, he looks so different. Everyone has their orders. The masks will attack as soon as all units are in position. The Imperials won't know what hit them.
I fear it will be bloody.
By Roger, it had better be.
We cannot stay here forever, Rita. We have other responsibilities.
I know full well what my responsibilities are, and I mean to fulfill them. Every one. Back to the pillars. So that was 3.1, and I think for there we wrap. Good stuff. See you soon.